Sportsland Sugo in Japan hosts the 10th round of the championship, the TNR Group 5 2022 season, and we've had 9 races so far, 3 rounds, those being at Sakito, Laguna Seca and Rapuna Park, and we've had 3 different race winners but quite a lot of different podium finishes. We've had 7 different podium finishes so far, so lots of different opportunity for different people. We've got 10 cars on the grid tonight and a good mix of cars and competitors. We've got Dom starting on pole in the BMW. Dom is now 3rd in the championship, having scored 2 second places at Rapuna Park, so there is a good opportunity for Dom, I think, to try and catch up on the 2 race championship leaders, who are Graham and Lee. So Graham is 3rd on the starting grid and Lee 6th on this random grid. Martin is alongside Dom though. Martin has not had a win yet so far, but has shown some pretty prodigious speed in that Porsche. He's only had the 1 podium. He's only done 6 out of 9 races so far. So I think one of these 2 guys will hopefully end up on the podium, maybe both. But it is championship leader Graham lining up 3rd place, who's going to be in with a really good chance of extending his championship advantage over Lee starting in 6th. We've got Oz in 4th place. He had some technicals last time out, didn't take part in all of the races unfortunately, but he is back here tonight. The rev notes rise. Who's going to get away well off the line? We go on board with Oz, and they all leap past Martin, who gets done, and Graham has taken the lead going into turn 1, and Dom gets absolutely mugged there, and I think Oz is going to try and follow suit. He does. The 2 BMWs go side by side. Oz goes around the outside, Dom backs out on the inside, and Martin's able to get past as well then, so Dom drops all the way from 1st to 4th. Great start from Oz though, who's up to 2nd place. Can he challenge the Porsche? That's what we want to see. We want to see some changing around of positions. Further back I can see, I think it was Dukes jumping over the I missed who it was. It was Dukes jumping over, bouncing over the curves through the chicane, and it's Mark and Lee together on track as they are in life, in their Fords as they head down the hill for the first time. These guys trying to chase down Dom. In the background I can tell you Andy has fallen back to his traditional 10th place or last place depending on the amount of cars. That Nissan not having the best start to this race, though he was starting quite far down the grid anyway. So, Dom runs wide, ploughs it through the gravel, kicks up all that dirt, and Lee's able to scoot through, and I think Mark is going to try as they head up the hill, but he might just have to back out of that. We go on board with Mark now in the Ford, Speedo coming up on the screen. You can just see that the BMW's got a bit more poke though, hasn't it, as we head down towards the first corners for the first time of asking on a flying lap at least, and these guys probably are the closest on track at the moment. I can tell you Oz is not able to stick with the race leader so far, but he's only it's less than a second actually. I think he's competitive in the tighter elements of the circuit. Mark almost goes for a move, sensibly backs out of it. Great driving. Dom goes through the kitty litter again, and he's into the wall. So Mark is definitely up to that 5th place. Dom is dropping down the order, tumbling down the order. Duke's having a really good run actually, up to 6th place now. He was the slowest of the runners in practice, but one of the guys that hasn't actually managed to get any practice in so far. But out front there is just about a second between the race leaders. Look at Dubs. Dubs also not having the best season, to be honest. He had a fantastic season in the Audi TT Cup recently, but not going to plan so well in these, not even close to a victory so far. Dubs actually nowhere near the podium so far either, so hopefully he can pull something out the bag this weekend. We see Dubs running wide as well. Is that going to give the BMWs an opportunity? We've got Dom and we've got Chrysler quite close together on track. Chrysler actually the lead of those. We saw some tyres being kicked there. Thank goodness damage is turned off, boys, because you'd be smashing up that front end. And we go down towards turn 1 once more, and Dom and Dubs having a good tete-a-tete. I think Dom's going to go deep again though. He just keeps going deep on the brakes, just keeps messing it up, and he's falling towards the back. Gets a good clunk from Andy for good measure, and Dom is off into the wall and possibly into retirement. Out front, the 2 race leaders are close. Is Oz going to be able to mount a genuine challenge? I really hope so. It'd be really good to see. We have had Oz win a race already so far this season, but it'd be really good to see him take another, especially after the disappointment of last meeting with the technical issues that he had. There is just about half a second between these two boys now. The BMW is really good through the tight twisty stuff, and I'm just wondering whether the tyres are starting to go off a little bit on Graham's Porsche. The only thing is we've got a bit of lag coming from Oz's car, unfortunately. You can see it just jumping around every now and again. Definitely at this stage of the circuit, up the hill, the Porsche's got a bit more poke. You see that gap just extending from half a second towards the second mark. But I think Oz will give it a go if he can. It won't be this time though. And just watching a little bit further back, Lee trying to make a charge on Martin, but Martin keeping that Momo Porsche in one piece at the moment, keeping it all together. Lee's had a pretty good run so far, I'd say. He was 6th on the grid and he's 2nd in the championship. He's just 8 points behind Grey Dragon, but with Graham leading this race, Lee needs to do what he can to try and close up. That'll be the only way of keeping championship hopes alive at this stage, although we're not quite halfway through the season, so there are still plenty of points to be scored. Dubs is in 8th, still trying to chase down Chrysler. Chrysler actually probably one of the drivers of the race so far. He's having a really good run. 7th out of 10 runners in the BMW. Showing very well. Hopefully he can learn a little bit off of Oz, who is really challenging in that BMW, but he's not close enough this time. Doesn't seem to have made any gains this lap around. Perhaps Oz has actually taken too much out of his tyres now. There's so much lag coming off of his connection, unfortunately. Just moving around this, you don't really get too much of an idea for how the car is handling at this stage. But Graham just starting to eke away a little bit on this lap. Further back, it's still pretty close between Chrysler and Dubs, and even Dumas is not too far up ahead of them in his Porsche. But no opportunity this time. We've got on board with Dubs Ford 3 up over the hill. Great sounding cars, 155 miles per hour onto the brakes. Now, can't take anything away from Dubs. You watch his driving here, it certainly looks to be on the money. But he's just struggling getting the overall lap time out of that Ford, I think. Lee is really maximising it, to be fair. He's doing a really cracking job. But this time Dubs is looking a little closer. Is he going to have a go on Chrysler? Chrysler firmly says no, this is the line I'm taking, but also had a bit more poke anyway, even along the short straight, so not a lot Dubs can do at this stage. Chrysler runs a little bit wide, almost comes back on, almost clouts the Ford of Dubs, but Dubs is through. Great move, great opportunistic move. Dubs was just driving so carefully, and Chrysler did nothing wrong there either. That was good driving. Chrysler has a little look on the brakes to the inside, but sensibly thinks better of it, but Dubs immediately makes a mistake, loses it all by himself across the grass. Oh, that was really sad to see, because Dubs was having one of his slightly better races this season. He hasn't had the luck so far, or the speed, to be honest, in this series. Now, battle is on over 3rd place. Lee is trying to get that final podium spot from the Momo Porsche as we head through the tight twisty section of the circuit, and Martin runs a little bit deep there. That's going to give Lee a bit of a mental advantage, but he doesn't have the power unit advantage, though. You can see the Porsche very quick. All Martin's really got to do is just hold this together carefully for the next lap or so, and should be able to hold on to that podium. But Lee looks really on the pace, whereas Martin looks like he's driving around on eggshells at the moment. Up ahead you just see Oz, so Oz has dropped quite a long way back off the race leader now. Oz now still in 2nd place, 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds of Graham, so it does look like Graham is going to be on for his 6th race victory in 10 races, which is pretty unprecedented. But he is going very well indeed. Heading down towards turn 1 once more. You saw the speed of the Porsche up the straight relative to Lee. He's got no answer for that. not at that point in the circuit. Now it's all about the handling through here. The Ford, a very light car. See Lee taking advantage there, getting great turning, bouncing over the curb. He's hitting all the apexes. He's doing everything he needs to do. What he needs is a mistake from Martin, I think. And it's not going to come this time though, because that was a good line from Martin this time. Much smoother through the chicane than he'd managed in the previous attempt. And watch the cars as they head down the hill again. Again, I don't expect that you'll see Lee being able to take advantage. There's so much more speed coming from the Porsche. See, the gap just opens up by almost a second by the end of the straight. But Martin has messed it up. That is the opportunity that Lee needed. He doesn't need to be asked twice, and he's straight through to third place. Martin down fourth place. Well, that needn't have happened from his perspective, but it has happened, and he needs to really settle back down to avoid losing another place to Mark. It's been a fairly quiet race, and it's been more determined by people making their own incidents as Martin runs off the track again there. This is going to give Mark an opportunity, I think, as we head down towards turn one. He's got the overspeed, but that Porsche so fast up the top end. Mark can smell blood on the final lap. What's he going to be able to do? Martin's been rattled, so it's just going to take another mistake from Martin, and through will go Mark. But will that mistake come to pass, or will he hold on for this final lap? Great apex from both of them there. You can really see Martin struggling with the tyres a little bit, but a great line again through there. Really nice from the Porsche man. And we're about to come onto the back straight through the right-hander. This is a tricky one, very easy to run wide. Neither of them do. A little bit of kick out from the back of the Porsche, but not from Mark, who keeps his Ford pinned to the ground. And we're heading into the final few corners. Graham is still our race leader. He's going to be coming up the line shortly. So we wait with bated breath to see what happens over fourth place. I don't think Mark's going to be close enough. Graham comes up across the line to win his 6th race of the season in that Porsche. It's a pretty phenomenal start to the season, and as we head towards the halfway point, Graham's going to be very pleased with his performance so far. Another man who will be very pleased with his performance is Oz. What a great start off the line. Threaded his way through and got up to 2nd place, almost challenged for the win, but couldn't ultimately get the pace at the end of the race. Lee, great drive up to 3rd from 6th. Martin dropped back a little bit but retains 4th place just ahead of Mark. Dukes and Dom come out of the final corner side by side, and I think Dom's gonna take the place back, or is he? Because as they come up the hill, the Porsche's got the straight line speed. This is going to be a battle all the way to the line, and I think Duke's Porsche is just going to take it back. 6th place, fantastic fighting from these boys across the line. That's the most excitement there's been all race, I think. Dom takes 7th, recovers to 7th. Remember, he was off in the wall after attack from Andy after several of his own mistakes earlier as well. Dubs finishes 8th, Chrysler 9th, and Andy will come across the line eventually in the Nissan to take 10th place. And here is the confirmation of race result, and Graham the only person to get in the 119s. Race 2 will be coming up in a few minutes.